Alex, we've spoken before about practice in the world of business, and we've also touched on sporting analogies. And when it comes to the sporting world, people really tend to get the fact that the need to practice is important, but yet we find in business people don't tend to practice. So, what's your view on why that is?
I think it's a really complex. There is a really complex answer to that one, Gareth. And if you think about the psychology of change, if you apply it to something very specific like a sport and wanted to get better at a sport, it's almost as if there's a very clear goal of what good looks like. And my belief, and having worked with people so long in this profession, is that the sales profession don't see it as such a goal to become excellent in that field. And the change, or rather the pain associated with change, is something that stops people. And if you think about why people do change, to start with, they need a reason to change. So if that reason isn't there in their heads, they're never going to do it. And then, of course, when people do go through change, there's a certain amount of discomfort. And the pain of change, I think, really holds people back, especially when they don't have clarity about why they're making that change.
So it's interesting. So if people are sort of running away from problems and pain, as you said before, therefore forcing them to sort of change and practice, what is it that an organisation can do to encourage that, so that you do it in a way that's a safe environment for people to practice, but yet that need for change is compelling enough?
Yeah, I mean, and in a short video like this, the answer again is very complex, but there are a number of elements. One is got to be a must. So in other words, there needs to be a recognized process towards which people aspire to be excellent. I think that's really important. So there's a cultural thing within the organization which we need to consider. Two is actually having a culture of feedback. And what I mean by that is, if you think about the improvements that people make, if feedback is handled in a way which is really constructive. So this is feedback about the stuff you're doing well. It's also feedback about the stuff that you can change. So a culture where feedback is the norm. And the final element for me in this simple answer is an environment where coaching is the norm. So somebody working in a commercial role, they would expect to be coached by their managers at every stage of their career. So in effect, the expectation of the need to step up is higher as well, but they have that support network around them. So coaching, feedback, but also some kind of culture where there is an expectation of excellence in that profession.